Hello and welcome to TNV Academy. Today we'll discuss compliance risk management, focusing on the identification and assessment of compliance risks as per ISO 19600 standards. Compliance risk management is crucial for organizations to identify, evaluate and mitigate risks associated with non-compliance with laws, regulations and internal policies. Let's explore the key principles and processes involved in compliance risk identification and assessment. Importance of compliance risk identification. Compliance risk identification is the process of identifying potential risks associated with non-compliance with legal, regulatory, and internal requirements. It helps organizations understand the scope and nature of compliance risks they face and enables them to take proactive measures to mitigate these risks. Key steps in compliance risk identification. Legal and regulatory analysis. Conduct a thorough analysis of relevant laws, regulations, standards, and industry best practices applicable to the organization's operations. Identify legal and regulatory requirements that are relevant to the organization's business activities. Internal policy review. Review internal policies, procedures, codes of conduct, and other governance documents to identify internal requirements and expectations related to compliance. Ensure that internal policies are aligned with external legal and regulatory requirements. Risk assessment workshops. Facilitate risk assessment workshops involving key stakeholders from various departments to identify compliance risk associated with different business activities, processes, and functions. Use brainstorming sessions, risk registers, and other tools to capture potential compliance risks. Document review. Review relevant documentation such as contracts, agreements, permits, licenses, and compliance reports to identify contractual obligations, regulatory requirements, and compliance gaps. Compliance risk assessment. Once compliance risks are identified, the next step is to assess their likelihood and potential impact on the organization. Compliance risk assessment helps prioritize risks for further analysis and mitigation efforts. Key components of compliance risk assessment. Likelihood assessment. Evaluate the likelihood of compliance risk occurring based on factors such as regulatory changes, industry trends, operational activities, and internal controls. Impact assessment. Assess the potential impact of compliance risks on the organization in terms of financial, legal, reputational, and operational consequences. Consider the severity and duration of potential impacts when assessing risk. Risk scoring. Assign risk scores to identified compliance risks based on their likelihood and impact. Use risk scoring matrix or other quantitative methods to prioritize risks for further actions. Risk ranking. Rank compliance risks based on their scores to determine the order of priority for mitigation efforts. Focus on addressing high priority risks that pose the greatest threat to the organization's compliance objectives. In conclusion, compliance risk identification and assessment are essential components of effective compliance risk management as per ISO 19600 standards. By systematically identifying and assessing compliance risks, organizations can better understand their risk landscape, prioritize resources, and implement targeted risk mitigation strategies to ensure compliance with legal, regulatory, and internal requirements. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or would like further information on compliance risk management and ISO 19600, please feel free to ask. And if you have found value in our videos, please do subscribe to our channel and share it with your professional colleagues. Thank you.